Okay. Here's Globe Busters. This is them claiming the NASA ISS interior is fake. And, you know, they're going to be like, this is a movie set, and they're on strings and all sorts of bullshit. So let's debunk their debunk, shall we?
Hey guys, Tim's on. Hey Tim, yeah, right here. The ESA and NASA can't seem to convincingly fake space.
These guys, by the way, Globe Busters, if you've seen the documentary Behind the Curve, are the people who spent $20,000 on a laser gyroscope to prove the world was flat and accidentally proved the world was a globe. A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Billions stolen from the American and European people cannot seem to produce anything that seems realistic. Are you just test piloting systems and have yet to find a way that is foolproof that would convince the American and European people that you're actually in space?
Why would they spend time and money trying to convince people of something that everyone already, like, gets? There aren't that many flat Earth people, dude. Like, why would NASA, with its minuscule budget, and I say minuscule, you're gonna be like, well, it's so many $1 billion. Okay. For how much money it costs to go to space and maintain space stations and spaceships and stuff, it's low. Historically, NASA's budget is not in a great place. Hopefully it'll be better, but, you know, whatever. They don't have time or the will to go out and explain stuff to people like you. You're not worth the time. You're such a small percentage of the population, what's the point? And nothing they do will convince you anyway. This is not like some scientific endeavor for you. You're like in a cult. You're in a flat earth cult. No matter what evidence they bring to you, you're gonna be like, no, that's a fake. You faked that. So why waste the time and energy? Be a waste of not only their time, but yours too. Bobbin for Giblet says it would be harder to fake the ISS than it would be to just launch the ISS. I'd agree. Especially based on, like, we've seen really, really long videos of them in the ISS doing tours, and there would be no way to fake it. Like, if there were wires or something, it just wouldn't make sense. We should definitely put more money into NASA. I agree.
Everything we do up here, it's cutting-edge technology. We're developing new systems, we're using new materials, we're coming up with new techniques. And in order to improve and to move forward, it's good to have that kind of test pilot mentality.
Tim, watching some of your clips, though, on the ISS, you seem to be pretty horrible at deceiving people. Are you doing anything to correct that situation?
Into whatting people?
Doing anything to correct that situation? People. Your clips, though, on the ISS, you seem to be pretty horrible at deceiving people.
Saving people, and what do you mean by saving people?
Are you doing anything to correct that situation?
Practice makes perfect. Give me another week.
There's nothing funny about it.
Deceiving. Oh, deceiving. Okay. Gotcha.
Praise the Lord. Mike here, of course. I'm going to show you in this video how NASA fakes zero-G without a vomit comet or a zero-G plane. Now, I've heard a lot of theories from other flat earthers of some big energy fieldy sound.
Yeah, they think, some flat earthers think the ISS is just a set that's built. You guys have probably heard of the vomit comet. It's the thing that they do when they're training astronauts, and I think a few movies have, like, filmed scenes using it too. Basically, it's a plane that they descend, or ascend rather, very quickly, and then they descend at a specific rate that simulates zero-G. So you're basically floating, and it can simulate weightlessness in an environment. And astronauts use this for training and other various purposes. I think people can just go, like, pay to do it for fun, too. I don't know, but it's a thing you can do, is my point. And some of these people think that the ISS is like a movie set that's been built in one of these things. Of course, that doesn't make sense because the weightlessness only lasts for like 30, 40 seconds, something like that. Yeah, Apollo 13 used it for zero-G scenes.
There's nothing funny about
the weightlessness effect only lasts for like 30, 40 seconds or something like that. And we have video of people on the ISS that lasts much longer than that with zero cuts. So it's impossible for it to be that. as compute controlled falling. Yeah, basically. Falling with style.
Wavy thing that pushes matter up in the air through sheer energy. But to be honest, some of the theories did sound like two healthy choices to me. No, I've been praying about it, and the Lord finally revealed to me one video, and I work with Blender and Unity, and I've been working with special...
My favorite scientific source, the Lord!
special effects software in Photoshop for quite a while now. And when I saw this video, I realized it became instantly clear how they do it. And it's just video game technology. Now, if you're part of the Geek Squad or the techie crowd, well, then you already know about this technology. And so let's get to the video that caught my attention, and you will see the same things
Squid
that I
Punk,
saw.
thanks for
Let's
following.
watch.
We have to introduce the concept of freefall. So let's use this model of the Earth. And let's enlist the help of a friend, Taxi. You might know her.
Hey, you know how they did that? It's actually incredibly simple. It was already here, and they actually just take, because it's a stationary camera. This is basic editing. This is a stationary camera, so what they do is, when they set up the camera, they already had footage of this area without this thing in it, and nothing had moved. So what you do is once you put this thing here, it was here the whole time that we saw from the beginning of the video, even though there's footage from before without it, and you mat that out, and you cover it with the footage that you already had of it not being there, and then you transfer between that mask and what's actually there, and then you put a little Star Trek effect over it, and it looks like it's teleported. Like, yeah, it's just a cute editing trick. They're just having fun, right? Like, it's not a conspiracy.
So what is significant about this video is, number one, it was live to school children. Number two, we have...
Yeah, you can do that live in editing too. Like, it's not a difficult thing. If you have a stationary camera, like, cutting stuff out using footage that you already had of that area, provided nothing is moved, is, like, one of the most simple, like, editing tricks you can do, or visual effects. Like, it's incredibly simple.
This stuffed animal that is transitioning in on another video channel, and the actor is able to reach up and grab this doll in real 3D space and manipulate this doll with their hands. And so...
Oh no! He's so stupid! He's gonna conspiracy theory the I'm gonna be honest, I gave this guy too much credit. I thought, at minimum, he was gonna be like, he was gonna explain how this actually worked with, you know, oh, the doll is actually there, but they just have a little mask over it. But instead, he makes up a whole thing where, like, actually, they spent millions of dollars making a fake 3D plush figure that she can manipulate in real time. If the Lord is your source on this one, I have bad news. Might want to find a new source.
The only way you're going to pull that off is with one technology.
No! You idiot! You absolute moron! They take this section, like, I don't know exactly where the cutoff is going to be. It doesn't matter, as long as nothing that's moving gets in the way. You already have a camera shot from this exact angle, without it there, and then you transition from that one to it being there with the actual live feed. You basically fade out the mask that you put over this, and during that, you also put in a little Star Trek, you know, effect, and that's how they do it. I could do this effect. Not live, mind you. I could not do it live, but I could do it in something I'm editing. It's anyone with an editing program and a stationary camera could do this. It's very simple. Like, kids on YouTube and TikTok do this. Like, it's a cool little trick and it can be cute, but how did you not figure this out? Oh my god! This guy shouldn't watch TV. He'd probably have an aneurysm. No kidding.
And that technology is virtual reality. More importantly, though, something...
Leave it to the flat earther to take something that's relatively benign in, like, the editing and special effects world, like, one of the simplest things you can do, and to, like, make this whole complex conspiracy about, like, oh, they made a 3D model and they're using ragdoll physics. Nope, it's just a real doll, and they just put a mask over this section to hide it. It's a lot simpler. Ask Compu with a bit. Actually, OBS is perfectly capable of doing this live. Oh, I'm sure it's possible. I don't have any of the stuff, though. I don't have... Like, let's say... I could, like, for instance, take a still shot of the room with, let's say, this hat that's right here above my finger missing. And then I can, like, create a mask, and if I were to, like, lean over, it would reveal the mask, so I'd have to stay over here. And then I could hit a button and transfer and make that go away. And then it would look like the hat just appears out of nowhere. I could do that, but I'm not going to do that. You should do it in the YouTube VOD? Oh no, that's too much work. I'm not doing that shit. I think everyone understands how this works, though. It's a very simple effect, right?
Called augmented virtual reality. Now, before 2012, NASA used masking techniques much like we do in Photoshop and After Effects. But now we're able to simulate water.
No, it was a mask. It was a mask. Why would...
And objects live in real 3D space. So we're able to take models of things that are photorealistic and rotate and move them while we're going live. Before, we used to have to render these effects frame by frame by frame, and it took extremely long amounts of time. In this video here I made last year, I'm using Sony Vegas, and I was just playing around with the masking capabilities of Sony Vegas. I don't even know why I saved this video, but here I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm just lifting up this.
Yeah, this is exactly what they did. They just matted it out. This is exactly it. Why are you going to the point where you're saying it's, like, CGI? No, it's this. They just removed it using the stationary camera matting thing.
And to make it kind of look like it's floating. And I didn't do a lot of work on this.
This is a crazy flat earther, yes.
Just something I wanted to see real quick. But that is a masking effect to get another effect. We now have the technology to simulate water, materials, fabrics live in real 3D space.
Not in such a way that it looks realistic. You're still going to have uncanny valley effects.
With virtual reality, but better yet, augmented virtual reality. And all augmented virtual reality is taking the objects in 3D space from a virtual reality world.
Oh, duh! I'm so stupid. Of course he has to pretend it's CGI. It's floating because they're in space, and he has to explain why it's floating. I forgot that they don't believe that space is real. I'm sorry. I've made a grave error. Yeah, no. It's just a mask, and it's floating because they're in space. Like, I think that's pretty basic to understand. Ask Compu with a bit. He keeps saying augmented instead of, or sorry, he keeps saying argumented instead of augmented, yeah. I don't know.
World, and putting them in our world on another screen, which we can see, manipulate, and touch with virtual reality contacts or glasses.
There's nothing funny
in this next
of capitalism.
Bellstar with 5 bits. Dicks out for rhombus.
segment, I'm going to show you how NASA grabs objects in 3D.
Do we need a... Is that rhombus thing funny enough to make a rhombus emote? Justice for rhombus, or... I probably can't put dicks out for rhombus. I don't think you can put, like, the word dicks in an emote. Like, is that too much? Do we not need a rhombus emote, or do we need a rhombus emote?
Space, rotates them around, manipulates them. They can do this with water, with
Okay, but do you see
cloth,
how bad
anything.
this looks?
And the cool thing,
have you used VR recently? It's not good enough to make like photorealistic graphics and like physics simulations. It just isn't.
about it is we can take what they're doing, what they're seeing with their contact virtual reality augmented lenses, and put that on a separate video layer live. Yes, live. And do it all in real time.
Yeah, and it looks like shit. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing technology. I don't mean to belittle the work of these people. We're still very early on in, like, VR development, and they're doing great work, but, like, it does not look photorealistic. It doesn't. It just doesn't.
So I'm going to show you what it looks like to them as they're grabbing objects and manipulating them. And then I'm going to show you Microsoft's HoloSense video.
You missed the rhombus thing. What was it? Basically, this weirdo who thinks that, like, Pizzagate is real was talking about stars and how they're overused as a symbol because they're satanic. And he was like, what about the rhombus? Why aren't there more rhombuses? Justice for rhombus.
Their demonstration at E3 a couple years ago of bringing a virtual reality into our world, and it is simply amazing. Let's watch.
I mean, I agree, it's like amazing. Oh, the HoloLens thing, also very cool.
Specifically how HoloLens...
But the thing about HoloLens is it also doesn't look photorealistic, and they don't claim it does.
Of HoloLens, you can do some pretty spectacular...
Like, these don't look photorealistic. Of course they don't.
And floating objects. I got tired of...
Nicely done. Looks like that's all of them.
In 2012, NASA got tired of faking weightlessness by using the zero-G plane, better known as the Vomit Comet. So in 2012, they started soliciting companies that specialize
people
in real
debunked that
time.
enough by that point, where flat earthers had to make up a new reason why they're weightless. Hint, it's because they're in space, but of course they can't admit that because they think space isn't real.
Augmented virtual reality so that they can fake weightlessness and floating objects in the air in real time. Simply the cost of the plane and the safety concerns and the fact that they weren't very good at it. They didn't go to Hollywood, which most of Hollywood's effects are post-processing. That's after the video is made.
What do you mean most all Hollywood effects that are like computer-based are post-processing?
Needed something they can do in real time and make it look realistic. And so I'll put this link in the description. They found a company called Telemetrics. Thank you, Debbie Durant, for bringing this to my attention. After I researched this, lo and behold, I found out our government has a contract with these people. And Telemetrics, basically what they do is they help news teams and they bring broadcasts together in real time, and they're able to create sets, cities, anything you want.
Okay. If the government has a contract with them, which again, you haven't provided a source, but I'd believe the government might have a contract with a company that deals with, like, technology in terms of broadcasting. The government would have a contract with them because the government, especially the federal government, does a lot of messaging via the media, so it would make sense to have people like this on the payroll, like presidential addresses. If we're talking about NASA does like news events where they talk about stuff. Like, this happens all the time. Broadcast is a huge part of messaging for the government.
In a virtual reality world and make it look absolutely 100% real. They're also able to bring different people from around the world, put them in the same room, and broadcast live, give them desks, whatever they need to make the broadcast. So it's a pretty amazing company. Here we see Johnson Space Center. Telemetrics provided latest camera robotics technology at NASA's government television at Mission Control. Why do you need to fake virtual reality sets at Mission Control in Johnson?
So when they're doing mission control stuff, like let's say the SpaceX launch or something, although I think they did that from like the SpaceX stuff. If they're doing like broadcasts from mission control so they can like have a cool thing to show people so it looks a little more technical, that would be why. Also, with all these conspiracies, I have to ask, if this were some big secret, why would it be on their website? Thus, NASA, smart enough to fool the entire planet into believing that space is real when it isn't, but also They just let the people who contract for them put the fact that they're contracting for them on their website. Are they smart or are they dumb? You gotta pick one.
Johnson Space Center. I think we know the answer to that when we saw Tim Peake on the gridded blue screen. So this next segment, I'm going to show you what it looks like when virtual reality being broadcast live doesn't work out so well because the system's not perfect. And then at the very end, I'm going to show you the mother of all screw-ups when they actually have a channel shut off that should be on. Because once again, these astronauts are looking in 3D space. They are grabbing objects because they're wearing augmented contact lenses. And if that object...
Augmented contact lenses do not exist as a technology. They just don't. Ugh. Like, you saw how big the Microsoft HoloLens was, right? It's like a big VR headset with wires coming out of it. Actually, I don't know if it had wires. But it's like a big VR headset. You can't condense all that technology into a contact lens. Not yet, at least. Someday, maybe? I don't know. We invent pretty crazy stuff as a species, so I guess it's possible. But, like... right now, the technology of Microsoft HoloLens is this big chunky visor on your head. It is not physically possible to turn that into a contact lens right now.
It's not there broadcast to the viewers live, then it's going to look pretty ridiculous. So let's see some of NASA's screw-ups. I'll cover them as they happen, and then we'll move on to the final. Okay, so this is one of NASA's older videos where they use post-processing and masks. This is a video layer mask in augmented virtual reality. We're going to see him lose his finger here. The watch glitches out. So I guess virtual...
Does anyone have that's not how cameras work? Take that one off the box.
reality accidents can cause loss of fingers. In this next video, we have Caddy. Now I want you to pay attention to her neck. And the way her neckline goes in her shirt, it's cut off. And the necklace. Apparently they wanted to show how cool this necklace looked. Unfortunately, it's not perfect. The necklace goes in and out of her shirt unnaturally. And
what do you mean unnaturally? It's going in and out of her shirt. Unnaturally? As opposed to what? Have you been to space and seen how necklaces work? It's in 0G, bud. Her shirt's out. It's not right next to her body. It's like out a little bit and the necklace is like going in and out because they're in 0G.
her neck glitches in several places.
No, it didn't. What are you talking about?
I literally spent hours going after probably...
Hands fused. They're not fused. The footage you're looking at is not very high definition, so pixels of a similar color are going to look like they blend into each other. You're zooming in really far. That's how that works.
30 or 40 videos, probably had approximately 45 minutes straight
augmented VR contacts
of NASA,
which don't exist,
messing up the virtual reality setup. I tried to pick some clips that were obvious and some not so obvious.
None of it was obvious. I still don't know what you're talking about with half of them because it just looks like really zoomed in blurry footage.
Show you some of the contacts. We're going to see Tim Peake with his...
What? They just look like eyes. What are you talking about? God, I don't even, as cool as, like, space flight will be if it ever gets to the point where, like, we have commercial space flight, I don't even care about, like, the technological achievement and how great that'll be. I just want these space denialists to shut up. That'll be nice. Ask Compy with a bit. Oh my god, he even spells augmented like he says it. How did he get that word wrong that badly? I have no idea.
Contacts in, but these are virtual reality contacts overlaid on the eyes so actors can interact with things in 3D space, all in real time. In this next shot, we will get to see the whole arm set up, and
it's the camera glitching. It's the camera not updating its pixels in enough time. Captain Disillusion has done, like, videos on this, too. Ugh.
And the virtual reality glove that covers all the way down the arm and hand. This allows the software to broadcast what we see video-wise as his arm.
This is also what I don't get. If it was a fake, and that were a tell, and not just the camera glitching out, or the broadcast, because obviously if they're doing it live from the space station, there's going to be a lot of lag, and you can't have, like, a Super HD video or anything. Like, why would they, like, leave that in, right? Wouldn't they delete that or fix it later so people, like, wouldn't see it? It wouldn't make any sense for them to be like, whatever.
In a shirt sleeve. Okay, I have a lot of Tim Peake screw-ups, but this one here, the system glitches, the software does not track his hand properly, and Tim slips his hand.
It's the camera. It's not even necessarily the camera. I should more say it's the broadcast. Because they're trying to do, assuming these are live, because he's talking about live. These are live broadcasts from space, right? It's incredible in the first place that we could receive live broadcasts from space at this quality. Of course there are going to be glitches. Like, visual glitches happen when you're on Earth. Much less when you're broadcasting from space. Like, some of the signal is going to screw up sometimes, and you're going to get weird lag like that. That happens. Have you never been in, like, a Skype call or a Zoom meeting where, like, someone has really bad internet and, like, stuff will jump around and the pixels won't quite know where to be? Like, it's the same thing, but on a larger scale because they're in space. Bobbing for giblets with a bit. This happens to my porn all the time. Porn must all be done in CGI.
And underneath his other fingers, which is tightly holding onto the mic, which would be impossible. I don't think this is Tim's fault. Normally,
what do you think is impossible? The way he's holding the mic? Why would that be impossible? He's holding it. I don't understand what you mean.
Tim always moves his other fingers up while he slides his hand under.
Also, normally they take shots at NASA, but they're doing a lot of European Space Agency stuff today. And yes, they're traveling at 170,000 miles, or sorry, not 170, 17,000 miles per hour, which certainly isn't going to help.
I just think the system didn't respond to his movements here. This picture here is actually Tim.
Traveling. The space station isn't orbiting, it's traveling.
Tim's fault. His hand breaches the 3D mic floating in front of him.
What? No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? That's lighting. His hand is still behind the thing.
In this next clip, we're going to see Tim's arms glitch out as he's manipulating a 3D bubble. Now, this bubble can be done in real time now. We have the technology to do that, which I showed you at the beginning of this.
Which looked nothing like real objects, so you haven't shown anything. Heck yeah, says Tanny Sume. International ISS stands for International Sovereign Space Citizen.
And this bubble is environmentally lit, or HDRI lit, by its environment, which means the bubble can take up its reflections and refractions as it moves around in 3D space in Tim's augmented reality. Once again, augmented VR just means bringing the 3D objects into our world on a separate monitor. In this last clip, we're going to see NASA royally screw up. It's a live broadcast, and one of their video channels is off.
Oh, they have likes, dislikes. Not shown. Cowards. Someone even says in the first one, the easiest way to do the first effect is to mask off the area. Literally what I said earlier.
Not working. That's the channel that is supposed to show us, the public, what the astronauts are seeing in virtual reality. Also, the channel shut off is the masking for the guy on the wires in the background. You can't make this stuff up. Just watch.
I mean, yeah, you
all know NASA uses wires, and sometimes we'll catch them like this here. The guy pulled on his wire. However, some days when you're filming live, things just don't work out, and it becomes so blatantly obvious, it's ridiculous. So in this clip, they're talking live feed, and we have a astronaut go by us in the background, obviously trying to give it a more realistic, spacey, station busy effect.
Or they're on a space station and they're doing stuff.
The only problem is the camera that was supposed to mask this harness out, or the video feed, is not working.
That's not a harness.
And so we see the guy come flying along in a harness on his wires. Pretty amazing.
Why do you think that's a harness?
But that's not all that goes wrong here. Okay, so
You're gonna have to point out what you're talking about.
You see to the right, this guy's flipping this hat. This hat's actually on another video.
And again, he goes back and forth multiple times. If this was a harness, which it is not, wouldn't they be like, oh shit, Dwayne forgot to turn on the thing that blocks out the harness. Don't come back until we fix it. Like, what?
Channel in 3D space. It's virtual reality. They're wearing augmented contact lenses so that they
No, they're not. You have no evidence of that.
can interact with these 3D objects. Now, in this scene, the guy on the left in the green shirt, he thinks he sees an object in 3D space that's being broadcast to him, so he grabs it and he puts it off to the side. He's looking
No, he's just moving in space, and then he takes his arm to steady himself. Ugh.
straight ahead because he's looking at an object rotating in front of him, but the video channel is down that is supposed to show.
It looks like he's going to do this, but then he starts to move in a way that he doesn't want to or something, or he feels he needs to steady himself, so he aborts from doing this, and he goes to grab onto the side to steady himself. The delusion and lengths they go to try and, like, catch NASA in a lie are so ridiculous.
The viewers what we're supposed to see, and so we don't actually get to see the object that he has seen. And I would just sum this up as a very terrible, bad...
Like, what object do you even think he would have supposed to have been seeing if that's the case? There isn't stuff just floating around the ISS for no reason. That's a hazard to the equipment and the astronauts. Like, it wouldn't make sense for there to just be something floating there that just appears, and for him to go and grab it. Like, even within the lie you're telling, this doesn't make sense as a lie.
Had a horrible day for NASA doing live
Pair
feeds.
of underwear.
Hey, Tim, you still there? Yeah. Can you explain to us what this astronaut's going through as he sees something with his eyes in 3D space, but it's not actually there being brought?
That's not what happened. You're completely misinterpreting what's happening in that clip. So being snarky and smug at this moment is gonna make you look like a jackass.
Broadcast to the public. What's going through this astronaut's mind?
Purple
This system is
Sunshine
sending
7,
signals
thanks for
to the
following.
brain, that doesn't really match your eyes, and so your brain's trying to work out the two differences.
Here's the thing. As much fun as this was, there is a time coming when you and I will not be able to tell the difference. And
I mean, there was nothing here that was actually fake, and you found bullshit to point out here, so I can't imagine things are going to change in the future. People who do the, like, red line conspiracy theory, a beautiful mind thing where they're like, oh, there's conspiracies everywhere, you're going to find stuff. We could have 8K live video with no lag and no video artifacts from the space station, and you people will still try and point out things that you think prove it's not true. Nothing is good enough for you people, because your beliefs aren't based on reasonable evidence. It's based on the fact that you want to feel special. It's based on the fact that you want to be one of the secret few who know the secret that NASA's lying and that space isn't real. No, it's not. You're part of a cult. Please stop.
Space has not changed. Technology to fake space has gotten better. Just because Adobe gets a massive update to Photoshop or After Effects, or there's a massive update at Telemetrics and the virtual reality, augmented virtual reality programming, that does not advance us magically 20 years in space. Space has not changed. It's flat. It's above us. It's dimensional, and we cannot orbit Earth.
You can orbit Earth, and they do. Look, here's video of people doing it now. Live ISS feed. Oh, they're doing a spacewalk right now, too. That's cool. Is this live? Yeah, this is live. They're doing a spacewalk right now. Neato. Someone's on the outside. We caught it at a cool time. Like, you can see the ISS live. You can look at it. There it is. Look at the Earth. Look at how round it is. And look at how they're circling it. Cool. It is cool.
Have been warned. This is very serious stuff, and if you do not get it now,
where the guy puts his hand through
you won't
his
get
hat.
it
What? His hand didn't
later
go through
because
his hat. What are you talking about?
if you do not get it now,
he flips it and grabs it with his
you
hand.
won't get it later because later you won't know the difference. This is Mike.
What? His hand's over here. What you're seeing through here is the bill of the hat.
God bless everybody.
God, these
please
people are
like
delusional.
and please subscribe.
The delusion with these people is strong. Have we still not had a bingo